Did I miss something? Where is Don? Here I am. I got to tell you guys, it has been quite a week. I'm a little slow today. I'm sorry. Took me a moment. Wow, the coffee is good. How are you? Slow it down. Welcome to Hot Topics. I'm so glad that you are here. We had such a great time last night. I just want to say, let me know. Hi, Ohio. Welcome to Hot Topics, everyone. Hello, Austin. I feel like Robin Williams. Good morning, Vietnam. Good morning. Let's see the next town that comes up. Long Island. Good morning, Boston. Good morning, Maryland. Hello. Thank you guys for joining us. Folks who are going to watch this on the repeat or just click on it and go, it's not morning, it's in the afternoon. So I'm just going to say hello, Georgia. Hello, Aubrey, Texas. Hi, Kate Davis in Aubrey, Texas. Hello from Delaware. How are you, Don Ursula? I'm doing great. I'm a little tired. It's been a long week. I don't know if you guys know. I'll just slow down and tell you. We'll talk to you, and then I'm going to tell you Trump got some really, really bad economic news. I wonder who he's going to fire now. This thing is on, right? I wonder who he's going to fire now. His economic policies his economics aren't economicing. It's not working. Nuremberg, Germany. Hi, wonderful search in Nuremberg, Germany. Wow. You're so far away. Does anybody stay in one place anymore? It sure be nice to see you. Was it knock at my door? Something like that. Okay, so thank you, Tara. Can you put that up? Someone said, great. How was the show? The show was fantastic. So one of the Lemon Heads, someone who came to the meet and greet, by the way, check that out. They made that. I put that up. See, it says Lemon Nation right there. Isn't that cool? It's blocking the picture of me and Tim, but I'll work on that. Anyways, thank you for that sign. They made the sign. And also this. You guys ready? Someone made this t-shirt for me. Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Epstein derangement syndrome, which is the same person who made the sign. So amazing. Thank you. I forgot her name. Forgive me. She and her husband came. They were so nice. She does those. It's really great. Isn't that cool? And so someone said, I need to trademark and coin Epstein derangement syndrome because I am the first and only person that they have heard say that, just like old people be knowing, right? So thank you guys. Last night was great. Last night was really great. Our special guest, I'll tell you a little bit later. I'll tell you who our special guests were, but it was a beautiful evening. We learned a lot. Folks really enjoyed it. We laughed, we cried, and then we promised to get back to work as I am right now to talk about what's happening in the world. So let's discuss. So Donald Trump is getting some really bad economic news this morning. And he's not going to be happy about it because folks, I think, are going to be concentrating on that. He's going to try to obviously make them concentrate on what is happening in, he's going to Alaska, even though he says he's going to Russia. Talking about cognitive decline. I mean, come on, give me a break. So he's going to try to get folks to focus on that, but he's also going to be pissed about these economic numbers. Because remember, he has the number one, very best economy on earth ever in the whole entire world. So now you guys figuring out this is all bullshit? Have you think, oh wow, I didn't realize my shirt matches my cup. So now you guys figuring it out? So let's put up some of the headlines, shall we, people? So here are the headlines this morning. This one is from CNBC. CNBC is saying what? Wholesale prices rose 0.9% in July, much more than expected. This is Jeff Cox over at the CNBC. Let's go through a little bit, and then I'm going to play a report for you, a couple of reports, and you're going to laugh your ass off. The producer price index jumped to 0.9% in July compared with the Dow Jones estimated for about 0.2% gain. It was the biggest monthly increase since June of 2022. They're saying these are COVID and post-COVID numbers, that they are so bad. Bad economic news. Excluding food and energy prices, the core PPI rose 0.9% against the forecast of 4.3%. Excluding food, energy, trade services, the index was up 6.6%, the biggest gain since March of 2022. Following the release, market implied odds of a September cut decreased, but only slightly, according to the CME Group's Fed Watch tool. So Jerome Powell is probably not going to lower interest rates because of this. And he's going to say, Jerome Powell, keep scrolling, Andy. Jerome Powell is going to say, see, I needed more economic data. And that's why I did what I did. That's why I'm waiting. And so chances are he's going to say, you know what? I don't need to do it right now. Donald Trump is going to be mad. We'll see 100%. Maybe he'll do it. Maybe he'll feel the pressure. Maybe he knows something. Probably he knows a lot that I don't know. Another headline. This one coming from where? That's a PPI numbers. What else do we have? We have another headline. This one is from the Financial Times. U.S. wholesale prices jumped 3.3% as Trump tariffs hit economy. Now, look, I'm only being animated about this to get you guys to understand that I'm not lying. I don't lie to you. I'm not being hyperbolic. I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. He has Epstein derangement syndrome. This is really going to send his Epstein derangement syndrome in overdrive, because the one thing that he hates more than people ask him about Epstein is ask him about bad economic numbers, because he fired the head of Bureau of Labor Statistics because she didn't give him the numbers that he wanted. Maybe he's just bad at business. 6 casinos bankrupt, says Miss Cat. You're right. Maybe he's just bad at this. I know you're paying attention, MAGA. Listen to the truth, says 3 minutes a day. You guys really need to listen to the truth. He's just bad at this. He's not good. He needs people around him that will tell him the truth. You would think that Scott Bessent would tell him. Jerome Powell is telling him. Jerome Powell has been right about the economy. He's like, I'm not lowering interest rates. There's issues. So what is this to say? Inflation is creeping back in. Inflation is creeping back in. First, I'm going to give you the CNBC report. You ready? Now, I don't know. I'm not an economist. I don't know what all of this means, but it doesn't sound good to me. Here it is.
Headline number is whoppingly big. Oh, my goodness. Up 0.9%. Up 0.9. And if you strip out food and energy, guess what? It's still up 0.9. Boy, that equals June of 22. You're to March of 22 on the headline to find a bigger number. On the core number, that would comp to March of 22, since we've had a number of that magnitude when it was 1.2%. These are kind of COVID distorted numbers. Now, let's look at ex-food, energy, and trade. Triple the expectations. All three of those were expected to be up 0.2. This is up 0.6. 0.6 would be the highest level since March of 22 when it was 0.9. Now, let's go year over year. These are warm too. 3.7. Excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. Final demand year over year is 3.3. We're expecting 2.5. Now, 3.3, that would be the highest since February. The high water mark was January this year at 3.8. Now, 2.8 is food, energy, and trade. That is definitely higher than the 2.5 expected. 2.8 would be the highest since March. And right in the middle there, we have just food and energy. That number coming in at 3.7. I kept it for last because that really is a very, very large number. 3.7, well, that would be the largest since March when it was 3.9. So we see every single metric is warmer than expected. Every single metric is significantly higher sequentially. Now let's go to initial jobless claims. Here's a bit of good news, 224,000. That's down 3,000 from a slightly revised 227. And we're the 12th consecutive week above 1.9.
Now, hold on one second. Now, what's he going to do? Because they revised it down, and it appears they revised those job numbers in his favor. Let's see how he's going to spin this crap. Well, finally she came to her senses or whatever. But on this is the way that we have been doing it forever, and it has actually been pretty accurate since the Bureau of Labor Statistics has been about. I read something recently, and I'll have to find it for you. I think it says that how we measure our economy, the metrics by which we measure our economy improved 70% since the Bureau of Labor Statistics was invented and started calculating information about jobs and about our economy. Yet he wants to get rid of the Bureau of Labor Statistics or fire the head of it and put someone else in charge and then not give jobs numbers. This is really, and I'm letting this play out because I wanted this to settle in, because for some people who know, you guys know what is happening with your wallets, you know what's happening with the economy, but you hear other things on the news, especially in corporate media, and they're telling you, this is great, Donald Trump is doing this, give it a chance, not everything he does is bad. Okay, of course, but pretty much most of it is, and he's not very good at this. But you need to know the truth without the false equivalence, without the people of him calling up and saying, look, can you guys give me a break over there on the RNN news or whatever it is? Can you guys give me a break over there at the BCA news or whatever the letters are? You don't give Trump a break. Everything is bad news, Trump. You guys you have in that newsroom, it's all bad news. It's all that. I mean, you look, Joe. You make a lot of money. You're a billionaire. You're the CEO of this company. You know, you're doing good, right? So Trump can't be bad. Okay, Donald. Jane, can you please tell the folks down there, or somehow, can you guys figure it out and just try to be fair? Trump called. He said, just be fair. He just said, be fair. That's what he said. He just said to be fair. And, you know, everything is not, it's so negative. You know, I watch and everything is negative. Everything. When I watch the Fox News, they're more fair. Be more like them. Can you guys do that? Okay. Morning editorial call. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Yeah. So, you know, the jobs numbers are coming in. And all I ask is when you guys do it, just be fair and just try to be judicial about the numbers. Discuss them. Don't put spin, you know, just don't. Just let the viewer decide whether it's good or bad. Okay. So today we're going to, our focus is on the economy. I know the numbers are coming in, but just let it play out so that people can decide, and instead of putting our, you know, putting our own prejudices and biases in that. That's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to let the people decide. Okay. All right. So I'll see you guys. Have great shows today. I just wanted to sink in because I know, because I've been there. If you think that's not happening, you are sadly mistaken. So back it up a little bit. This is all just showing you that the numbers. Now he's not saying, he's just like, oh, this is oh my God. Because if a real people would be like, look, guys, this is bad. And we're 6 months in, and there are tariffs, and inflation is creeping back in, and he's pressuring the head of the Fed to lower interest rates because he wants to shoehorn his policies in to try to make them look like they're working, even though our debt and our deficit's out of control. He's adding to it. He's increasing the chances of inflation. He is harming the economy. So that's what they should be doing, warning you. And he's freaking out over Epstein. We haven't forgotten about Epstein. All right, continue to play this.
A slightly revised 227, and we're the 12th consecutive week above 1.9 million, and continuing claims 1,953,000. Once again, it all gets stacked up pretty tight. What we're thinking about is these numbers go all the way back to November of 2021, and the next jump up from these numbers will be when we pop over 2 million. The last time we did that was, as I said, Nova 21, 2 million. 41,000. So we saw interest rates move up to this kind of 4.25 level in 10s. The 2-year has moved up to a bit to 370, and every maturity now, except for 30-year bonds, are higher in yield. 30-year bonds are virtually unchanged. Next week on Wednesday, we get a 20-year, but you know, on the supply side, it's a bit in the rearview mirror. We didn't have terrific auctions, and I'm going to throw it back to you guys. I'm a little surprised the markets haven't moved more on it, but the knee-jerk is usually against expectations. The residual trade down the road here today will be about how this factors into the bigger picture.
There we go. So that was CNBC. They try to be a little bit more tempered. That guy was animated. And here's our friend. You guys ready for this one? I love watching this person and this network when the economic numbers come in and they're like, if it's good for the president, oh, this guy is great. Look at what he's doing. They said the economy was going to go off of the cliff, and since he's been doing it, it's great. Mr. Trump is amazing. Or they're out to get him, and these numbers, this is why he's getting rid of the people, because they don't know how to accurately capture what's happening with the economy. They don't understand what Donald Trump is doing. And so, but I love it because they get the numbers. The numbers come in as they're live, and they get to see them when we see them, unless they're in a commercial break and they get a sneak preview. Maria Bartiromo, everybody.
Welcome back. We have breaking news right now and a spike in the producer price level of inflation. Take a look. Markets are selling off here because the July PPI came in up 0.9%. Worse than the estimated up 0.2%. This is the headline number. It was expected up 0.2, came up 0.9%. Year over year, it is up 3.3% versus an estimate of up 2.5%. Now, when you look at core, it's also troubling because in the core PPI, it was up 0.9% versus an estimate of 0.2%. Year over year, the core up 3.7%, also higher than the estimated expectation, which was up 2.9%. These numbers have caused markets to drop. The Dow Industrial is down 105, the Nasdaq down 71, and the S&P 500 lower by 19. We want to take a look at producer prices with the Transportation Secretary. Sean Duffy will be here to talk about other things like the modernization of the FAA, as well as the investment in space, where we're going to start off with getting his expectation and reaction to a spike in producer prices. We'll be right back.
Maria. Look, Paul, leave it back up there, Andy. Aw. Look at her face. Come on, y'all. We're going to leave it at that. We'll be right back. Go to commercial. Damn it! Are we going to spend this now? Damn it! Thank you, Beyond the Pines. Yes, I did get a haircut. Anyways. Damn it, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What's Sean Duffy? Sean, what's great about what Trump is doing today? Sorry. Look, I think we're going to be okay if we know the truth and we get a handle on it so people know. The midterms are coming up. People need to know the truth before they go to the polls. So you're going to have to buckle up a little bit, buckle down, and just put your head down, and we're going to have to get through this. But you have to know the information, okay? So, yeah, check this out. Is this what the market is doing right now? This is the market summary. So I don't know how to read those numbers. I don't know if you guys know what that means. I only know the Dow is down this and NASDAQ is down that or whatever. That's the stuff that I can read. But
the Dow right here that we're showing.
Yeah, that's the Dow. Yeah. Okay. We'll get some explanation in here. S&P 500 is off. It says, I think, by 0.5. Dow Industrials are down by 0.21%. So that's the information I'm getting. So we'll see if it's because the market is Donald Trump does such crazy stuff. The market just tries to, they're like, okay, it's going to be a taco or whatever. But when you get bad numbers like this, it is just, what can they do? There's nothing they can do. The numbers are the numbers, except they can try to fire people. But what does this mean? This means that inflation is creeping back in. Andrew Ross Sorkin was on this morning for CNBC. I think it was on MSNBC, talking about the danger of this. And the danger is really inflation. And so all of the pressure that you see Donald Trump giving Jerome Powell, and he doesn't like it because Jerome Powell pushes back. All of that pressure is pressuring him is not right. It's wrong. And Jerome Powell is correct. Now, I think we just started from not the beginning, but just from when Andrew Ross Sorkin starts to speak here. I want to hear exactly what he has to say. But it's not good. Here it is. Watch.
They are not as good as had been expected. In fact, it appears that inflation is creeping higher. This is really the second piece in the puzzle that we've now seen inflation creeping higher, and it's going to give the Fed pause now, potentially about lowering interest rates. Just when it seemed like there might be some sense that actually interest rates might get lowered this fall, after this number, it may put Jay Powell in the position of saying, you know what, I'm going to hold off. It also, by the way, gives Jay Powell a little bit more material, if you will, to say, I wasn't too late. I wasn't too late, Powell, because I've been holding my fire. I haven't been doing anything, in part because I was waiting for more data, which is what he's been saying. The president, of course, very critical of Jay Powell, saying he needs to be lowering interest rates. One of the reasons that Jay Powell has said he didn't want to lower rates so quickly was he was worried about inflation. He was worried about inflation as a function of these tariffs. And I think you're starting to see that creep into the market. You know, for many, many months, we've wondered, when are we going to see that happen? And this may be, again, just another example of that first crack here.
Yeah.
So, Andrew, it's interesting.
There we go. That's from, again, the folks who are on CNBC, they try to be very moderate about it, right? But he's, look, at Andrew Ross Sorkin, who does a deal book and is very highly connected sources and information, with economists and folks who know the financial markets. He at least tries to tell you, like, hey, look, guys, this is not good. This is very, very bad news. Again, I don't want to depress you on a Thursday, but the truth is important. Business Insider, his top economist, says we're on the brink of recession. Now, this was before, I believe, from Business Insider, I think this was before even those numbers came out. And I was reading this morning, going through it, saying, holy crap. This is some scary stuff. And then all of a sudden the numbers came in. Top economist who thinks we're on the brink of a recession says we're eyeing these 3 warning signs. Scroll for me, please, Andy. These are the warning signs that he says. This is Mark Zandi, the Moody's economist, recently warned that the U.S. economy is on the precipice of a recession. Over the weekend, he shared more insights as to how we'll know if a recession is here. It wouldn't be surprising if we learn with the coming revisions that employment is already declining, Zandi said. Keep scrolling. And so he does his economic stuff, and then he arrives at these things. This is how he arrived at this. So keep going. A few signs he says that show that this has arrived. He delivered the dire warning about the state of economy last week and followed up over the weekend with a series of posts on X about what he's eyeing to know the economy is tipped into a downturn. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Scrolling on this one. So there we go. These are the key factors. He noted in posts that historically, the answer to exactly what signifies a recession is not always clear until after the circumstances have shifted. However, in the thread, he laid out a few key factors: payroll employment, employment levels, job decline, consistency. And so when you look at all these numbers and everything, so he's talking about payroll of employment, employment levels, job decline. This is why he wants to get rid of the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because it's so important that it plays into the economy. The health of the jobs market plays so much. He needs those numbers to be good. And they are not good. And so he keeps dancing and playing around. And now we won't know, if we continue on, what the exact health of the economy is right now. If we continue on with Donald Trump, we will not know that. Because what? Because he's afraid of telling you the truth. And he's afraid, he knows that his economics, his policies are not resonating with the American people. He knows that. I'm going to give you proof of that. I'm going to show you his polling numbers. But first, I'm going to break in and a word from our sponsors. Support comes from Shopify. You know the origins of this show, the Don Lemon Show. Once just a dream. I had the idea, the vision, but I also had a lot of those what if moments. You know what I'm talking about? What if I don't have the skills? What if I can't do it alone? I learned pretty quickly that you can't let those questions stop you, okay? You've got to turn those what ifs into why nots. That's why I love Shopify, the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, powering 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names to brands just getting started. We use Shopify right here on this show to bring you the merch that you love, okay? So, like the shirt. So even if you've never designed a website before, Shopify has beautiful, ready-to-go templates that match your brand style. Their AI tools can help you enhance product images, write descriptions, and even generate discount codes. And if you're worried people haven't heard about your brand yet, well, Shopify makes it simple to find your customers with email and social campaigns that you can run yourself. Plus, their award-winning 24/7 customer support is always there when you need it. So turn those dreams into reality and into that with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/lemon. That's shopify.com/lemon. Support comes from ZBiotics. I have to tell you about this game-changing product that I use before a night out. It's called Pre-Alcohol. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic invented by PhD scientists to help you handle those rough mornings after drinking. So here's how it works. When you drink, your body converts alcohol into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It is that buildup, not just dehydration, that is to blame for feeling awful the next day. So ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol produces an enzyme that breaks that byproduct down. The first time I tried it, it was before summer rooftop party, right, with friends. I took it before my first drink, enjoyed the night, and the next morning, well, I was on top of my game. No wasted day, no sluggish recovery. So as summer winds down, beach days, road trips, cookouts, don't forget to pack ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol. Take one before you start drinking and drink responsibly, and you can enjoy tomorrow as much as today. So go to zbiotics.com/lemon to get 15% off your first order with code LEMON at checkout. It's backed by a 100% money-back guarantee, so there are no risks here. That's zbiotics.com/lemon, code LEMON for 15% off. Thanks to our sponsors. Okay, so let's get back to this. And I found this article again. I want to get back to this Business Insider article, and I have it up here myself. Okay, so this is what Mark Zandi is saying, and I'm sure you guys have heard of Mark Zandi before. Mark Zandi is a Moody's economist and usually right on with his assessments on the economy. So he delivered this dire warning about the state of the economy last week and followed it up over the weekend with a series of posts on X. Topic of recession is heavily debated, with economists consistently deliberating over what qualifies. Okay. While the U.S. is not yet in a technical recession, not technically defined as 2 straight quarters of negative growth, other areas like the labor market have been sounding a warning. Okay? As we say out here on the just regular folks on the streets are talking. Zandi noted in his post that historically the answers to exactly what signifies a recession is not always clear until after circumstances have shifted. However, in the thread, he laid out a few key factors. Payroll employment, employment levels, job decline consistency. He said the National Bureau of Economic Research, or NBER, or NEBR as they call it, is considered the arbiter of when a recession begins and ends. Noting one key factor that it's academic researchers considered above others. Okay? So they said they look at a plethora of data that makes this determination. More importantly, far and away, is payroll employment. That's why those jobs numbers from the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics are so important, because Donald Trump knows it is a key factor to measure the health of the economy and the jobs market. Payroll employment, he stated, adding that if employment falls for more than a month consecutively, the economy has entered a downturn. Okay? Zandy said that payroll employment has not fallen yet, but added that it has barely increased since May, which he seems to find troubling. A quote, given the recent revisions to the job numbers have been consistently lower, much lower. It wouldn't be surprising if we learn with the coming revisions that employment is already declining. We have the biggest, most beautiful jobs numbers, this big bill, this tax cuts for the rich. It's going to help. It's going to trickle down to all of you. It's bullshit. And he knows it. And he's getting these polling numbers. He's getting the economic data. He knows it. Data, I sound like him. The economic data coming out of New York. Hey. Let's break down the polling, and I'm just give you a little bit of it because I just don't want to overwhelm you. This is what he knows. This is why he's fighting, to keep you from talking about Epstein, to keep you from talking about the real economic numbers, to keep you from talking about his policies. He's trying to shape reality into his favor. But the polling numbers aren't lying.
Really a huge piece of why the president was elected was to get a handle on cost of living. So how do Americans feel like he's doing?
Let me just say, this is an abject disaster. Abject disaster for the president of the United States. You mentioned it, Jessica. Look, voters on Trump and inflation. He won the 2024 election because he was more entrusted on inflation than Kamala Harris was, led by a margin of 9 points. Look at where his net approval stands today, though, on inflation. My goodness gracious. Into the gutter we go, underwater we go. He's 25 points underwater. My goodness gracious. That is where the Little Mermaid is, and he is matching the Little Mermaid. That's how far underwater he is on the issue that got him elected. He led on by 9 points on it last year, and now he's 25 points underwater. As I said, this is a complete and total disaster for the president of the United States.
So let's
Thank you very much. Over on the CNN, Harry Hinton. So those are the numbers. Those are the numbers. And you know what they say? The math is going to math. The numbers don't lie. Sam Stein is tweeting this morning, got to fire the interim BLS chief, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Bloomberg, wholesale inflation accelerated in July by the most in 3 years, boosted by a surge in the cost of services. Got to fire that interim Bureau of Labor Statistics chief, Sam Stein. You're right. What is he going to do? Shit, the interim one is not doing his thing either. What's he going to do? The question is, what is he going to do? And what are the people who are trying to at least save our democracy trying? I'm not saying they're being really successful at it. The question is, what are they going to do? Meaning the Democrats, the people in Congress who's supposed to be keeping a check on the executive branch. What are they going to do? Well, now guys, sit and listen to this, okay? I want you to get your coffee or whatever it is, and I want you to just sit back and listen to this, because Leader Jeffries thought that he was going on to CNBC to talk about that issue. And then he was asked about New York and Zohran Mamdani. And this is as spicy as I've seen him. And this is the energy I think that people want. But I'll let you judge, and then we'll discuss. But I want you to sit back and watch this a little bit long. This is Hakeem Jeffries on, by the way, with Andrew Ross Sorkin. And I think he kind of checked the brother. Here it is.
What do you think of the president's decision to replace the BLS director in terms of this new person who's just been put into this role?
I think it's a disgrace, but it's part of a consistent pattern that the Trump administration has attacked the free enterprise system here in the United States of America. The Trump administration has unleashed the largest pay-to-play scheme in modern American history, and everybody in corporate America knows it. Everyone in Washington, D.C. knows it. Is that not an attack on a free market-based economy here in the United States of America? Seems to me that it actually is. That's problematic.
Right, but here,
going after
but here's the thing: you're talking
Reserve,
about a free market.
Problematic.
This is why I wanted to go there, because there's sort of you're talking about a free market on one side and being an advocate for a free market on one side, but at the same time, we just had a whole conversation about an individual who is running for mayor in New York City who is genuinely titling themselves a socialist. And you're saying that you might ultimately support them. And so I'm trying to understand the distinction here.
No. I'm trying to understand why you would spend a significant amount of time asking me about the Democratic nominee who's not even the mayor, and it's not a legitimate point to raise about a president who is regularly attacking the free market economy, bullying corporations, bullying universities, bullying law firms. He just recently called upon the CEO of Goldman Sachs to fire their chief economist. That's not problematic. He's the leader of the free world, the president of the United States of America. He's in office right now, and he's attacking the market-based economy. Now, I said
okay,
that
pause.
I support.
Hakeem, yes, finally. Oh, look, I happen to like Andrew Ross Sorkin. I'm just saying this is the energy that we need from Hakeem, okay? And so when you're on these shows and you're doing these interviews, okay, that's how you keep people in check. Let's stick to the point that I've been saying to you guys all along here. Every question, when he held that thing, when he talked about we're taking over DC. Mr. Trump, what about Epstein? Your Justice Department promises DC is going to take care of itself. What about that? Mr. Trump today, well, we're going to be talking about the war. Okay, fine, but you haven't had that meeting yet. How about these economic numbers? Isn't that what we should be discussing? That is the most pressing thing right now. We'll get to your meeting where you think you're going to Russia, but you're actually going to Alaska. Okay, great. That's great. We'll discuss it after you have met. We'll see who's there, Zelensky, Putin, whatever, and then we'll have a discussion. But right now, the economics numbers are coming out, and people are worried about being able to pay their bills. They're worried about actually not being able to have a job or get a job. They're worried about the health of the job market because of their futures. And so you fired the head of Bureau of Labor Statistics. The interim person that you put in also is giving you bad economic data. Are you concerned? Do you think you need to think of what you're doing with the economy? What about those tariffs? Can we discuss that? Hakeem Jeffries. I'm gonna call his person today and say, yes, bravo. That's how you do it. And the same thing when they do it. Why are you trying to steal the election? Why are you trying to gerrymander districts in your favor in a year that is not a census year? So why are you doing that? Why are you forcing those people, the legislators in Texas, to have to take extraordinary measures when you're doing unusual, extraordinary things in order to rig elections? Stay focused. Stay focused. That doesn't mean you can't discuss other things. We have to discuss other things. But we can always bring it back to his Epstein derangement syndrome. We can always bring it back to his economic derangement syndrome. That instead of figuring out how to make things work properly, what is best for the economy is to say, I'm going to do this. This is what I want. I want tax cuts for the rich and the wealthy people. It's going to trickle down. It's going to help. You don't want billionaires moving. These billionaires, if they take their money out, oh my God, billionaires can't pay. Okay. But instead of trying to figure out the best way, you're just going to shoehorn it in. You're going to put it into the big, beautiful bill. You're going to lie to people about the data. You're going to fire people that don't give you what you want. positive numbers all the time. It's not how the world should work. That's not how it works. You're going to keep getting bad economic numbers, but guess what? You guys are not going to see it. And then all of a sudden, we're off a cliff. Keep going, Hakeem Jeffries.
Again, I don't disagree with you at all. And I don't love those attacks, but I will say, just in fairness, and I wonder whether you think that they're the same or they're not the same. There have been people that have criticized Elizabeth Warren for years for individually attacking and going after and naming specific CEOs in America, specific companies in America, over again and over again. President Biden famously didn't invite Elon Musk to the White House, probably caused him to actually support this president originally. And so the question is whether those are the same or they're different.
It's interesting that we're talking about Joe Biden, no longer the president, Elizabeth Warren, who's a senator, as opposed to Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, his administration, as well as complete control of government in Washington, D.C., the House and the Senate. That's the problem that we are confronting right now. And
that's it. That's the problem we're confronting right now. And the thing is, Elizabeth Warren is a senator. It is her job to criticize. That's their job, is to analyze and criticize. And okay, so what? She should be calling out CEOs. Everyone should be doing that, especially the media. It's our jobs. It's the public servants, the politicians. It's their jobs to hold truth to power. That's why they're there. They're sent there to fight for you, to call out the people who are controlling the economics of the country, the politics of the country, the future of the country. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We shouldn't be letting anybody slide. She's not targeting people. She's saying these are the people, they're leaders, they're public folk, they're in public positions, they're in big positions. Those people they get out and they do interviews and they come on and they talk or whatever. They put themselves in that position to be public people. If you don't want to be public, then don't take one of those big jobs as a CEO of a company then. Oh, I don't want to do that. Sorry. I'm just going to stay and do my thing. Don't do it. Targeting are calling out. She's supposed to call them out. That's what she's supposed to do, whether you like it or not. I mean, Republicans and Democrats, that's what they do. One should be fair with it, but I don't understand what the issue is for Elizabeth Warren doing that. And then Joe Biden not inviting Elon Musk. Why would he invite Elon Musk? Why? When he's giving Elon Musk so many incentives and grants and contracts, he already has those. That is like that's the thing for me. I don't care if you invite me. I don't care if you invite me to the White House, but I do care about, okay, fine. I'm getting my contracts. I'm getting my jobs done. I'm paying my employees. I'm looking out for my shareholders. Now, would you like some influence? Yeah, sure. But perhaps maybe Elon Musk, right? Instead of being antagonistic towards the Biden administration, which he was, he could have said, I would like to work with the Biden administration. He could have called, I don't know if he did or not, could have called their offices and said, hey, look, why didn't you invite me to the summit? Now, what I would imagine, there was a lot of tweeting and stuff publicly going on. Perhaps he could have invited him, but perhaps they both could have reached out to each other. But to Hakeem Jeffries' point, Joe Biden ain't president anymore, or Joe Biden's not president anymore, or as we say, Joe Biden ain't the president no more. So why are you talking about him? Joe Biden is sitting on the beach somewhere, chilling, reading a novel, whatever, hanging out with his grandkids and his dogs and his wife. Can't go back and change the past. Bygones be bygones. It's over. It's over. So then why on earth? Anyways, Hakeem Jeffries, that is how you keep the folks in check. I got more for you where this can wait till you. I'm going to play for you what's happening in Washington, D.C., and it is a travesty. And Donald Trump is telling you that he wants to do this around the country. He wants to take over blue places. He wants to control, in my opinion, reportedly, allegedly, he wants to control future elections, especially the midterms. You saw the numbers there from the CNN, how people are feeling about his handling of the economy and jobs and affordability. He's scared. And so now he's trying to take over American cities, blue cities, big blue cities, because he knows that's where the bulk of the Democratic vote comes from. Those big blue cities and blue states, and some big blue cities in red states. But he's not trying to take over the red cities. Memphis has a huge problem with crime. There are other red cities that have huge problems with crime, not trying to take those over. So let's just be honest. We're going to talk about that. First, a word from our sponsors. Support comes from Wild Alaskan Company. Now, when was the last time that you truly trusted seafood you brought home? I used to second guess everything, the freshness, the sustainability, the taste, until I discovered Wild Alaskan Company. Wild Alaskan is 100% wild caught, never farmed. That means no antibiotics, GMOs, or additives, just clean, real fish that support healthy oceans and fishing communities. Their fish is frozen right off the boat to lock in taste, texture, and nutrients like omega-3s. So my personal favorite, the wild sockeye salmon, deep color, rich flavor, and it cooks perfectly every single time. So every order supports sustainable harvesting practices, and your membership brings flexible shipments, expert tips, and a real sense of knowing where your food comes from. And it's risk-free. So if you're not satisfied with your first box, you get a full refund. No questions asked. So get seafood you can trust. Go to wildalaskan.com/lemon for $35 off your first box. That's wildalaskan.com/lemon for $35 off premium caught seafood, wild caught. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. You know, these days, feels like there's advice for everything. You know, cold plunges, gratitude journals, screen detoxes. But how do you really know what works for you? With so much mental health content online, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. So for me, therapy has always been about cutting through that noise with someone who actually listens and guides you towards what works for you. That's where BetterHelp comes in. More than 30,000 licensed therapists and more than 5 million people served globally. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform. It works with 4.9 out of 5 in the App Store from 1.7 million reviews. It's convenient, and you can connect with the therapist from anywhere and switch to at any time that you need, okay? No questions asked. You can do whatever you want there, right? BetterHelp gives you access to mental health professionals with a range of expertise so you can find the right fit for you, what fits your needs. So talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/DonLemon. That's betterhelp.com/DonLemon. Thanks to our sponsors. Thank you for our sponsors for keeping us viable out here on these streaming streets. So let me tell you this. In order for us to stay viable, we count on your generosity, okay? So make sure you hit the thumbs up. It does affect the algorithm. If you like it, what we're doing, even if you don't like what we're doing, hit the thumbs up for us. Also subscribe. The subscription button is right at the bottom of the screen. Also, Nikki, if you're there, can you hop on because I have a question for you, okay? Hi. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's right at the bottom of the screen by the comments, okay? And then the membership button. So last night, I was with a member. She handed me her phone. She goes, Don, I've been trying to join. I want to become a legend, and I'm trying to join. It was on an iPhone. I went to the app. I couldn't figure it out. Then I went to YouTube. I went to it on, a regular browser. I could not find a join button. I sat with her for at least 10, 15 minutes, and I could not figure it out. If you're on an iPhone, Nikki, and you want to become a member, she's tried to hit, I could not find a join button or a member button nowhere, no how. How does one do it before we get back to the news? How do you do it?
Well, first we put a link in every show. Every single show, there's a link in the description that you can click to join. So that you can always go to that web address that says click join here to become a member. I want to apologize for that because that is not us. That is a YouTube iPhone issue that we have been trying to get sorted for quite some time, that the join button does not appear. So if you have a computer available, that's the easiest way to do it. If you don't, I would suggest using that link that we'll put in the chats, and I also put it in the description for every show. We can post it right now to the top of this chat just so everyone can click on it.
Yeah, we should do that often because I was frustrated. And you guys remember this was before, and I wrote about it when I went home to visit my sister. She wanted to change her membership before my sister passed. She wanted to change her membership. And I could not figure out how to do it for my own family member. I was on her laptop, I was on her phone. I was logged into her account. She could not. She was, I think, a lemon head or lemon, whatever, and she wanted to become a lemon legend. I couldn't figure it out, and so I had to cancel. I canceled her old membership and then tried to upgrade it, but it wouldn't allow. It's just, we need to figure it out. We need to have a talk with YouTube to try to figure this out. So set up a meeting, please.
Them, but also, yeah, like I said, every single video, if you guys go to the description, it'll say become a member of our channel here, and I always pin the link there just so people have access to it. So you can always check out the description.
Thank you, and welcome to our new members. Okay, so I want you to sit back. You guys know what's happening in American cities. It's happening in Washington, D.C. right now. But it's going to come to a city, your town, your state, so especially if you're in a blue place or a place that has a black mayor or black leadership or is a majority black in districts where they want to change that so that they can get a leg up on the election and try to steal the elections, especially the midterm elections. Now, this is a report. I just want you to watch this and watch how unhinged Donald Trump is. This report will go into it, but sit back, everyone, and watch. This is the tragedy that is about to has befallen Washington, D.C. and is about to come to a city or town near you. Here it is.
Overnight, confrontations in Washington, D.C.
Are you proud of what you're doing?
As protesters pushed back against President Trump's move to expand the National Guard and federal officer presence in the nation's capital. Last night, law enforcement from several agencies setting up one of the first checkpoints to come after the announcement, stationed in a popular downtown area. A crowd gathering in response.
Go home! Go home!
It comes as President Trump now says he plans to federalize the district's police department beyond the 30 days allowed without congressional approval.
We're going to be asking for extensions on that, long-term extensions, because you can't have 30 days. I don't want to call national emergency. If I have to, I will. But I think the Republicans in Congress will approve this pretty much unanimously.
Democrats calling the plan to extend the takeover overreach.
No way. We'll fight him tooth and nail.
Also in Washington, the National Guard. Roughly 800 have been activated this week to support law enforcement here. Among D.C. residents and visitors, reaction to the takeover is mixed.
A lot of people who live here for a long time know that it's not the picture he's painting. It's not. It's a safe place.
My concern is that the people that are causing harm to other people here in Washington are not being punished.
President Trump trying to reshape not just policing in the nation's capital, but also its beloved cultural institutions. Trump declaring he'll host the iconic Kennedy Center Honors this December and announcing this year's honorees after naming himself chairman of the board.
I turned down plenty.
They include rock legends Kiss, disco queen Gloria Gaynor, and blockbuster action hero Sylvester Stallone.
The only one that's a bigger name of the Hollywood Walk of Fame, they say, is a guy named Donald Trump.
And some local officials here in Washington are using the Trump administration's takeover of the police department to renew their push for D.C. statehood, an idea the president is calling, quote, ridiculous. Craig.
All right. Thank you, guys. Okay. This is a spectacle that he wants on streets, especially in black neighborhoods. He wants to see this spectacle all over in black neighborhoods everywhere. Okay? I want to show you, this is what, just some of the chaos, or some of the things that have been happening in these neighborhoods. You saw some of the confrontations last night. We have a bit more of it. Let's play it.
What is wrong with you? On you? Shame on you! You think this country loves you so much? You do not want this role in history. You did this job to protect and serve. Look what they're doing to you. This is the community. Shame! Shame! Shame!
Now, I told you this, and Mark, you can go back and look at it. Everything is on tape, or everything is, you just go click on it. And I said I was worried about these tactics inciting violence and retaliation. And I even said it last night, and they said, don't do that. That's what they want. Because I would be, if I was sitting on my stoop, having a cocktail, drinking a soda, whatever, outside of my house, and or smoking a cigarette. I don't smoke. Well, I mean, every once in a while, I might have one if I'm out with the boys. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not a smoker, okay? Meaning cigar, whatever. But if I'm sitting out there and someone says, hey, someone walks up to me and says, hey, can I see your ID? What? What do you mean, can I see your ID? I would be indignant. Probably end up on the ground. Because WTF? Who are you to tell me, to ask me for an ID? I'm a U.S. citizen. This is my property. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, this is, Donald Trump's crackdown on it. Okay, fuck that. You tell him to come over here and make me get off my step. Now, please leave. Goodbye. Get out of my face. Now, I would do that. I probably end up, they would get mad at me and it would. So you don't want that to happen. Or you could just ignore them and go. But that's what they're looking for. And it's going to come to a place near you. And you know what James Comer, the guy, right? MAGA, extreme MAGA person. He's agreeing with the president. He's going to do whatever he can to carry out the president's initiative. Here it is.
Carjacking, we have people mugging people at all hours of the day, and it's out of control. So the president had to send in the National Guard.
Right.
And I think that you've seen just in the last 24 hours a huge decline in crime, and we're going to support this. We're going to support doing this in other cities if it works out in Washington, D.C. And again, it's unfortunate, but we spend a lot on our military. Our military has been in many countries around the world.
Can we pause, please, and then you can back it up. This fool, did he just say we've seen it at a big reduction in crime? They've only been out there a half a second. What are you talking about? 800 and some, almost 900 people out in Washington, D.C., police or members of the National Guard or law enforcement, and they've arrested like 23 people. What is James Comer talking about? He should have been saying the crime numbers in Washington, D.C. are down. Are there issues with crime in big cities? Absolutely. There are issues with crime in every city across the country, red or blue. And unless it's a real emergency, we don't need the interference, and we don't need to spend taxpayer money. We need to figure it out. And we need to figure out how we could be helping Washington, D.C. and other cities without antagonizing them. That's what a real leader would do. James Comer, the crime numbers are already down. What the fuck are you talking about? I would back up and hear it again. If this man oh my God, just play it from the beginning.
Carjacking, we have people mugging people at all hours of the day, and it's out of control. So the president had to send in the National Guard.
Right.
And I think that you've seen just in the last 24 hours a huge decline in crime, and we're going to support this. We're going to support doing this in other cities if it works out in Washington, D.C. And again, it's unfortunate, but we spend a lot on our military. Our military has been in many countries around the world for the past 2 decades, walking the streets, trying to reduce crime in other countries. We need to focus on the big cities in America now, and that's what the president's doing.
Yeah.
And we also need to focus on the little cities in America now. The ones that make all the meth. The ones where most of the PDF files live. The ones that have the most SA offenders. The ones who constantly are targeting, not exclusively, but reportedly more so than anybody else. That's red states. The ones with the opioid problem? The ones that the blue states pay for their infrastructure? Perhaps we should be saying, hey, you guys should stop sucking off the teat of the folks in blue states and big blue cities that you're now targeting and harassing. You folks should be careful about inciting violence in places because people feel like they are being occupied. Now, do we really want to go there? How about that? How about stop antagonizing people and making them feel like they live in occupied territories within the United States in their own neighborhoods? Community policing works. Defunding the police does not work. Sorry. But helping police understand the communities that they work in, to try to work, because they know the communities they work in, because then they can figure out how to police folks better without seeming like they are occupying them. So why don't you go check out some, why don't you go to Florida, to some Alabama, Missouri, Mississippi, Arkansas, Oklahoma. Why don't you go there and check that out? I mean, they got lots of problems and they need to be cleaned up. You ever drive through and look at some of the neighborhoods in those places? You ever look, it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, New Yorkers would go there and go, what is this? But they think like, oh my God, New York is a hellhole. May not be perfect, but New York is, folks come by every day, pick up the trash, do whatever, right? It's a big city, has issues. Tough to get a handle on. But even in these small places, you see like squalor. One wonders, how can people live like this, especially in those red states? Like, wow, what is going on here? Who lives like this? You may not like what I'm saying, but I am telling you the truth. You may not like what I'm saying, but I'm telling you the truth. We're going to hear from a moment. I hope the White House, I think, has responded to these bad numbers. We're trying to figure it out, see what they're saying. Producers and reporters out there, my correspondents, let me know if you see anything. Okay? And so you heard what Donald Trump said, he wants to do with the Kennedy Center, and he said that at the end of the thing, and madness. Now, no one is reporting on Donald Trump's cognitive decline. And I want you to listen to these. Okay, guys, please sit back. Sit back. And I want you to listen to Donald Trump. And I want you to tell me honestly, because he wants to do this crazy shit with the Kennedy Center. Okay, not the end of the world. When he is gone, people will pull it back. They'll get some real artists back in there. And it'll go back to being, but the Kennedy Center, they're still trying to be nonpartisan there. Donald Trump is fighting it. David Rubenstein is also fighting it. Donald Trump is fighting. David Rubenstein is trying to keep it on track, to have it to be nonpartisan and to actually have some real art and not tacky shit, gold shit, all kinds of crap. Donald Trump has no class. He does not know. Money cannot buy you class. Okay? But just listen to him talking about, I want to play some stuff. You guys, and tell me, guys, if we need to take the car keys away from Grandpa. This is him announcing that he is hosting the Kennedy Center Awards. Watch.
Delighted to be here as we officially announce the incredibly talented artists who will be celebrated later this year at the 2025 Kennedy Center Honors. It's going to be a big evening. I've been asked to host. I said, I'm the President of the United States. Are you fools asking me to do that? Sir, you'll get much higher ratings. I said, I don't care. I'm President of the United States. I won't do it.
Nobody told him that.
They said,
Not
please. And then Susie Wells said to me, sir, I'd like you to host. I said, okay, Susie, I'll do it. That's the power she's got. But I just, so I have agreed to host. Do you believe what I have to do? And I didn't want to do it, okay? They're going to say, he insisted. I did not insist. But I think it will be quite successful, actually. It's been a long time. I used to host the Apprentice finales, and we did rather well with that. So I think we're going to do very well.
Okay, Susie Wiles, his chief of staff. So his people are gassing him up. Oh, you do it, you'll get much better. Nobody called from the Kennedy Center. Nobody out there was like, oh my God, you know who should host the Kennedy Center Award? Donald Trump. Like, see, nobody said that. Hell to the no. Not one person said that. Now, are you guys hearing how he's just slurring his words, and nobody's like writing about his cognitive decline? He wants to give himself a Kennedy Center Award.
Since 1978, the Kennedy Center honors have been among the most prestigious awards in the performing arts. I wanted one. I was never able to get one. This year, it's true, actually. I would have taken it if they would have called me. I waited and waited and waited, and I said, the hell with it. I'll become chairman, and I'll give myself an honor. Maybe I'm going to honor, next year we'll honor Trump, okay?
And people think he's funny. I don't think he's funny. I just think he's dumb and he's losing it and he's slurring. Donald Trump talking about how he's a dictator, but Democrats need to work with him.
We're going to fight crime. That's a good thing. Already they're saying he's a dictator. The place is going to hell, and we've got to stop it. So instead of saying he's a dictator, they should say we're going to join him and make Washington safe. But they say he's a dictator, and then they end up getting mugged, and but the stats are very bad. But we're going to I think we'll actually get Democrat support. I really believe they can't do this one too. It's
okay. All right. All right. I hate to do this to you. All right, but are you ready? Because there's a method to my madness. Okay. And then I don't know how he got from that to contractors. Watch.
Seek a relatively small amount of money for fix-up, and we're going to put it out to bid. And we have great contractors here, great road builders, everything. And we're not ripping roads apart so they're closed for 4 years as they redo the concrete bases. And you don't need that. We need a beautiful topping by a very talented asphalt type person, somebody that does the job. We go out, when I get contractors, I use great contractors. To me, a great contractor is a very special, like a great surgeon, like a great teacher, like a great nurse. A great contractor is very important. We'll only use the best. And when you put a coat of asphalt on that top, 2 inches of asphalt, 3 inches of asphalt, it looks brand new. You take all the garbage off. They reseed it, as we call it, or different names, but they take the bad stuff off and they put the good stuff down. It takes not a long period of time. A matter of a few days, you'll have a beautiful, magnificent road.
Now, this is there was no, we did not edit any of that. There's just a soundbite. He is just talking and just talking. No one asked him about it. Supposed to be talking about the Kennedy Center. Now, why is no one talking about this man's cognitive abilities or decline? And to that point, okay, method to my madness. See if you can figure this one out, because it relates to Sylvester Stallone, who I think he wants to put on the board or has put on the board of the Kennedy Center. But here it is. Go.
And Sly is a pillar of the really American pop culture and a Hollywood superstar like few others, and one of the biggest names on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In fact, the only one that's a bigger name on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, they say, is a guy named Donald Trump. I'm on the Hollywood Walk of Fame too, if you can believe that one. But he's amazing. He's really amazing, and he's actually a great actor.
Okay. One more.
What a boxer's body was. So they brought him one, and I won't tell you who it was, but it was a big name. But the chest wasn't exactly what you need. One shot, and your heart would pop out. That wasn't too good. Then he did another one. He was fat, sloppy, but had a good face. Then he did another one and another one and another one.
I thought he was talking about himself until he said had a good face.
And he turned it down. He wouldn't take $1 million. He wouldn't do it. And it turned out that when they saw him, they said, you'd be actually pretty good for this role. And he had never done this before, anything like it. But think of it. He turned down $1 million. He had nothing. He refused to let somebody else play. He didn't want to play it. He wasn't originally, he did it as a writer. But he ended up playing it because he couldn't find anybody else that fit the role. And who knew what would have happened?
I'm just saying. So I don't know. I don't understand how anybody can take this person seriously. I have no idea how anybody can take this person seriously. None at all. Susan Glasser, I think you guys know Susan Glasser. She is a brilliant writer and a brilliant purveyor of news, and is able to sort of condense and with economic words, with an economy of words of what is happening, and with grace and elegance of what we're seeing and what we're witnessing right now. And here she is. She's with the New Yorker. Here it is.
I mean, some vague future trip to Russia is not what the president said, despite Caroline Leavitt's yeoman's attempt there. He said he was going to Russia Friday. What did you make of that?
I mean, you know, Jake, you know better than many that there is a real hazard in having a president who is nearly an octogenarian, who is more prone than many others to slip-ups of this kind. He may also just be conflating Putin with Russia. I do think that that's a verbal tick of his we've heard in the past.
So there you go. She's being quite. She's basically saying, look, he's old and he's losing it. That's what's happening. He's old and he's losing it. And that is what's going on. Okay, White House has responded. And of course, they are delusional, right? So this is a White House official to CNBC when I said they respond. Okay, so here's it says, with the consumer price index running at annualized rate not seen in over 4 years, and PPI for core goods, which could be most sensitive to tariffs, now down at a 0.07% annualized rate since January, the doom and gloom predictions of President Trump's tariffs ratcheting up inflation continue to be proven flat out wrong. Okay, so that is wrong. So they're trying to figure out a way to combat the bad news that was given by his interim head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So they're like, well, what do we do? Let's see. You think they're going to fire this guy, even though he's the interim? I wonder how long that will last. So someone said, Don, could you please end this show on a good note? I tried. That's what it is. So I will end on a good note. You guys want a good note? Here we go. All right. So last night you guys can check social media. We have some stuff from last night if you can check it. Anyways, last night we did our thing over at the City Winery in New York City. It was another hit show. It was great. Our special guests last night were Godfrey, who was hilarious. Jolly, blue-eyed soul brother. Jolly got serious, and I was like, Jolly, woo, man, Jolly went hard. And he went hard on the people who he believes is ruining this country. That's him. This is what Jolly's saying, okay? Jolly says in order to fix whatever it is that we have to fix now, he says it is incumbent on white people to come to the realization that they are the biggest part of the problem, especially when they help to elect Donald Trump. And people were like, whoa. And he went in. So anyways, if you want to see what's happening, go check out our socials. Go to donlemon.com. You can. Okay, let's see some of the photographs. If we have some of the photographs. But anyway, I just want to tell you, get them up when you can. But go to donlemon.com and you can find out anything you want to know about the show. All you have to do is click on watch. It'll take you to our main page. If you go there, I think if you go there, I should have done that last night. You can go and there is a place where you can click to join right on donlemon.com. Am I right about that, Nikki? Maybe I should have done that last night. I didn't even realize it. So
you would have to click on the YouTube link and then join.
Yeah. If you just go to click on the YouTube link at the top and then there's a join button. So there is an easy workaround that we have right there. Okay. And then you can also check out our merch. Man, it was so great last night. You guys were loving the stuff. Everybody had on their Don Lemon Show merch last night. It was amazing. So go check it out. I got to get some of these new shirts. I love the tone on tone shirts. And I love the new hats. We have more hats that we had last night and more. It was just, anyway, it was a really great time. People learned. Seriously, we laughed, we cried. We heard some amazing stories. Sometimes it's like group therapy when we do these things. So that is me, Jolly, Godfrey, and DL Hughley. DL was in the night before. He was in a suit, all cleaned up. Last night, he says, I'm wearing my pajamas because we're going to chill. And two legendary comedians on the stage with also a blue-eyed soul brother, Jolly. And there we are up on the stage last night. It was just, it was just really, really fantastic. I was so happy that I got to experience it. And I wish that you all could get to experience some of the things that we did last night. It was just freaking fantastic. And then also in the crowd, do you guys know who, what's his name? Masterson, what's his name? Peter?
Walter Masterson?
Walter Masterson was there last night. Jolly did a couple of behind the scenes things that we shot before the show, but Walter was in the crowd. Riggs, who is a retired combat veteran, was also in the crowd and talked about his experience being in America last night. But being in America, especially after he talked about getting invited to the White House when he was a combat veteran. And he was talking about how this was during right when Barack Obama was first elected, and some of the white soldiers did not want to go. And he says, I'll go. And he says, I went out and got a new uniform. And he said, and I got to watch the first Black president give someone the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And he said it was just amazing to him. And then, there's some behind the scenes. So this is so I had a little fun with Walter Masterson last night, and Jolly. Play it, please.
And I didn't even feel pain because
You need to trade that MAGA hat for this. You need to become part of the Lemon Nation.
Lemon Nation. I wanted, as long as it's racist.
Are you recording? All right, we are backstage. Don Lemon, DL Hughley, DL and DL. I got Walter Masterson here. Walter, tell us how hard it was coming here as a cis-het white male.
To be a straight white man in this country. If you see a white man today, just give him a hug. Really, they're going through a lot.
What's the hardest thing about being white in America?
Oh, it's just it's like it's almost illegal. That's why Trump needs to take over Washington D.C. Not because he fucked all those kids, but because of.
Okay. All right, we're good. We're good. That did not happen. Anyway, blame it on Walter. I did not know that part was coming, but anyway, that's Walter. That's what he does. Okay, so make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you become a member and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Okay, so look, we're going to be back here at 5 o'clock today Eastern time. So I know, time to get out of here. You said end on a funny note, and I did. So until I see you back here at 5 o'clock Eastern time on Lemon Live at 5, you can be informed without being inundated, okay? Oh, and by the way, again, last night, I told you guys I threw my jacket and necktie into the crowd. I got the necktie back. No, I gave it the necktie away. I want my jackets back. I need my jackets. They're part of suits that I need, all right? They're very expensive suits. I said, I need the jackets back, and you guys were left with my jackets. So please, if you're on the YouTube or wherever, I will send you some stuff that you will like more than just a generic men's suit jacket. Okay, so let me know. So until I see you back here at 5 p.m. Eastern for Lemon Live at 5, you can be informed without being inundated. So turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you.